Welcome to the NISM Masterclass. I am your host Sashi Krishnan. As part of our purpose at NISM, we sit down with experts to learn from their journey. And my guest today is Ms. Anita Shah Akela. And Anita is presently the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. She's also the CEO of IEPFA, and that is the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority. She also holds a lot of other offices. I think she's on the governing board of IBBI, and she's held very, very senior positions in government during her service and even currently. And today we sit down with Anita to discuss how IEPFA is tackling the challenge of unclaimed financial assets in India. So welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, just to begin with, IEPFA operates at the intersection of restitution, regulation, and education.
Right.
So you've got multiple mandates, and your mandate sort of extends beyond just facilitating claims, but also preventing asset abandonment, and that's where I think the education part comes in. So could you give us an idea about the role that IEPFA plays and how this role differs from the traditional custodial mechanism?
So, thank you very much for having me here. IPFA was set up under the Companies Act of 2013. So there's a section 125, which talks about the establishment of IPFA,
Right.
and also gives the reasons and the mandates that have been given to IPFA.
Right.
So, of the mandate, the first mandate is essentially to give back the whenever a person claims his unclaimed shares or dividends, to
Right.
return it to them. The second mandate is the investor education,
Right.
and also wherever there's a class action suit, etc. So the money can be spent out of IPFA. The
Right.
third one is not so used,
Right.
but the first two are what we do mainly.
Correct.
The money, there's an IPF fund, that is the Investor Education Protection Fund, which whereby the central state government can donate, anyone can donate into, and mostly the unclaimed dividends of the companies which
Right.
have lied unclaimed for 7 years, they come into this fund. So
Right.
the companies have a responsibility to put in the dividends which have been lying unclaimed. Usually what happens is, when a company declares dividends, for 30 days it has to keep it in an unpaid dividend account which is kept separately.
Correct.
Thereafter, for 7 years, it can keep it with itself, try and trace out the owners wherever they are, try to get the KYC updated, and return
Return it, yeah.
the dividend stands claimed. Now, what happens is, for 7 years, if you've not claimed your dividend, then the dividend gets transferred. Along with that, the underlying shares also get transferred. So, a lot of time people think कि ठीक है, dividend claim नहीं किया तो क्या, my demat में my shares are still
Still
lying.
there, right.
I still have the physical shares with me. But for 7 years, if you've not claimed it, the ownership gets transferred to IPFA. Then the claimant will have to file a IPF 5 form, give his relevant details, and then reclaim it from IPFA. And in this, the company plays a major role, because the shareholders' antecedents have to be identified by the company,
Right.
the entitlement as to how many shares, what dividend, and whatever corporate action would have happened, all those things will have to be returned back to the original claimant once he is identified. Here we also have cases, where the shares would be pertaining to, say, 20 years, 30 years.
Right.
You find it lying somewhere when you're cleaning up your
Right.
parents, grandparents' cupboards, and you find some
Old
pieces of
shares lying over
papers
there,
and
yeah.
all that lying. You may even find dividend.
Right.
Earlier, the dividend used to
Used
be
to
paid by way of
by a check, yeah,
warrant or
warrant
something
check,
like
yeah.
that. That also would be lying. So you're cleaning it up. You don't know what to do. You throw it into cupboard. So we try telling people that don't throw it into cupboard. We have a search facility. If you have the folio number, etc., the name, etc., whatever is available with you, you can search through our search facility, check whether it is still with the company or it has come to IPFA. Then we have a process of claiming it.
Right.
And the claimants, if they are legal heirs, or and there's a process of transmission, and
Right.
if you've lost your certificate, Then there's a process by which FIR needs to be put or an advertisement needs to be given. So we have different kind of processes which all written down very clearly in the
Right.
website of ours.
So you specified that you told us that under Section 125 of the Companies Act, IPEFA acts as the custodian to several types of unclaimed funds.
Yes.
So these could include, securities transferred by companies, could include, sort of dividends, it could include
Wow.
bank deposits. So, how do you broadly define, these assets? What are the various kind of assets that could get transferred into the IEPFA?
So mostly we get the dividends of companies,
Right.
then amounts, debenture amounts or
Yeah, so
something.
unclaimed debenture
Yes,
interests
yes,
also
and
form part of this fund.
right, and deposits, as you rightly mentioned, insofar as maybe a
So
time
these would be
deposit or
both time
something.
deposits and saving deposits?
No, that goes to the RBI DEF fund.
Right,
What
correct.
is with the banks?
Right.
But sometimes the banks have some certain kind of deposits or this thing. Only those kind of
Okay,
deposits.
so
certain
certain types of
yeah,
deposits from
yeah,
the banks come to you.
yeah.
And what about unclaimed, say, insurance money, unclaimed, EPFO money? Do they also come into the IEPFA?
No, that does not come to IPFA. They are with the IRDI or with the EPFO.
Okay.
So they have their own claim processes which are there.
Right.
So currently we are working towards having a unified claim process.
Right.
Working towards a unified KYC across the entire spectrum of unclaimed assets.
Right.
But the recently website was launched on unclaimed assets, where the website had a congregation of different regulators' website. So at one point, the claimant
could see all
can see
his,
what is available.
Okay.
He does a search on it and then follows the process to get back his unclaimed asset.
Okay.
In fact, last year, October 4th, we had a 3-month campaign that with the banks, where Aapki Punji, Aapka Adhikar, by
Right.
which the deposit,
Yeah, I will ask
shares,
you a
all
question on
that,
that also a little later.
that was
definitely.
returned.
So, just for the understanding of our viewers, you had mentioned, this distinction between inactive assets and dormant assets. So, assets don't move into the IEPFA immediately. That's what you had mentioned.
Yes.
So, the financial institutions also must be taking a lot of steps, as you mentioned, to sort of reunite these assets, even in that 7-year period or 10-year period that is available,
Absolutely.
right? So, what do you think are the best steps that financial institutions should take to ensure that this does not happen, that this money does not move into the IEPF? Because that would be also
Right.
part of your education effort,
Right,
isn't it?
right. So the rules of IPFA mandate that before you move up, before the 7-year period is over,
Right.
for 3 months the company has to continuously advertise and inform people that your thing is available with us. Please update your KYC.
Otherwise, it will go into the IEPFA.
Yes.
Okay.
So that happens, and also the company, when it becomes unclaimed, so company is expected to maintain the list of unclaimed dividends with the name of the shareholders, the folio, and all that on their websites also.
Okay.
Right.
So you could actually go to a company's website and see whether there is any dividend that is due to you.
Yes, and
Okay.
then try and update your KYC by going to the
Right.
company nodal officer or to the RTA.
Right.
So once the KYC is updated, your bank account is updated, your Aadhaar is updated, and whatever relevant documents are there, ISR 1, 2, 3, if that is updated, then the dividends start moving to you, and then it does not come to IPFA. The share or the share does not come to IPFA. So that's why we advise people to keep updating through our social media campaign, through various campaigns. Over the last 1 year, 1.5 years, we've started a Niveshak Shivir.
So have
along with-
companies been successful in sort of ensuring that what is dormant does not become inactive? How successful have companies been or banks been?
For this, we've had 2 rounds of Saksham Niveshak, as we call it,
Right.
where the companies have been nudged to keep advertising and keep tracing the shareholders in order to update the KYC and before it comes to IPFA.
Correct.
So the reports have been very encouraging. I mean,
Okay.
almost 20-21% people have updated their KYC.
Okay.
So it does not come into IPFA, because the flow into IPFA, once that reduces, that will be the real success of
Correct,
the
exactly.
campaign.
So the other question I had was that, to reclaim assets once they have been transferred into the IEPFA, there is a whole set of legal documentation that people need to do. You were mentioning
Right.
a lot of KYC and beyond that they need to do to establish ownership, or, that you are the legal heir, etc. And a lot of these KYC itself is not an easy task, because we've been sort of among the financial sector itself, there are multiple sort of banks have one KYC, the securities market needs another KYC. Similarly, in corporates, for example, there are old folio numbers, as you said, physical
Yes,
shares
yes.
are pulled out of cupboards,
Yes,
old
yes.
dividends are pulled out of cupboards. So what steps are being taken by both the institutions as well as IEPFA to reduce this friction and make it easier for people to claim funds from the IEPFA?
So we are looking at easing the claim process for low value claims that
Okay.
below a certain threshold, where maybe affidavit can be done away with, or certain documentation can be done away with. So we are working with SEBI. SEBI has already come out. We'll be aligning our rules with SEBI, and the entire ecosystem will have to work towards having one single KYC across the entire financial asset universe. So that is also I've been told that that's central KYC is being worked on.
Right.
We plan to latch on to the DigiLocker and the central KYC, so that once your KYC is done and once your nominee or your heirship is established, we don't keep asking you for the documents again and again.
Okay.
So this is something we are looking at. So but that one step will have to be done, because there is a tendency. There are a lot of frauds happening in this area, because the stakes are very high. So it's imperative for us also to be very careful before and check everything, so that the money goes into the rightful claimant's hand rather than goes elsewhere.
Okay.
So that's why the fraud checks, etc., are mandated. But we can definitely try not having re KYC again and again and again, and different set of papers across different regulators. So we are looking at harmonizing the documents across.
So just getting into a sector specific question, in the banking sector, the amount of deposits that stand unclaimed as per RBI data seems to be something like, 97,000 crores, and it has been rising, it's not been falling. So, in your view, what are those structural deficiencies that lead to so many deposits being unclaimed? Obviously, people change jobs, people move cities, people forget that they are opened an account. All that is right. So, isn't this going to be a very difficult task to reunite people with this money? That's one. And the second question I want to ask you in the same context is that they have now launched, the RBI has now launched the Udgam portal, right? And you had mentioned that some time back. So how effective has this Udgam portal been in sort of reuniting people with the unclaimed deposits?
See, RBI, I would not have actual information from the inside thing,
Right.
but from what I see from the outside is that most of the deposits are that of the state governments and the central government.
Oh, they're not individuals.
Yes, they are. This is what I've been told. I mean,
Okay.
this is so that has to be worked out.
Mhm.
But insofar as individuals is concerned, even now I feel that the banks have to still align their system in order to be more proactive. However, during the Aapki Punji Aapka Adhikar campaign, a lot of money was reunited with the people,
With the deposits.
and
Yeah.
the banks will have to take further steps to identify, probably link it with the PAN, because opening a bank account with PAN has been in place since a long time.
Right.
Right, so that could be one way of doing it. Um,
So the
I
search process could be simpler, you're saying, in the banks, because they have already linked all bank accounts to PAN.
Yes,
But this
yes.
was not true for very old accounts, isn't it?
Yes,
Some
yes.
accounts
For
that are
old
20 years,
accounts,
25
probably,
years.
yeah, people will have to find a way to.
Right.
But the good thing about the bank accounts is that amount. Then the bank does the due diligence, etc., and returns it, and then claims it back from RBI.
Right.
This is the process
Okay.
that is happening from what I've read of the DEF rules.
Right.
But in IPFA, you claim it because the
You
fund is
directly
lying with
claim
us.
it from the
You
IPF.
claim it from IPFA directly, and it
Okay.
comes back to you.
Right.
And insofar as the Udgam portal is concerned, it probably tells you that your deposit or your money is lying in Falana bank.
Right.
It still does not give you an online claim process,
Okay.
which is available in the IPFA portal that you can search. You find your claim and then you can file it online.
Right.
So this is the difference between Udgam, Mitra, which enables you only to merely search. But IPFA portal allows you to claim as well
Right.
and track your claim and see where it is going, where it is resting, etc.
So, if you look at the securities market where the funds directly flow into the IEPFA once they, become unclaimed, the amounts are also fairly large. I think it's something like 90,000 crores, if I understand, in terms of unpaid dividends and what do you call it?
No.
Debenture interest, etc.
So we've got around 10,000 odd, 800 odd crores
Mm.
in terms of unpaid dividends.
Okay.
And the share value keeps changing. So we have a certain amount of shares also which are there. So we usually don't take the value of the share because that keeps changing.
Okay. Right.
So we take the number of shares that have to be returned.
Keep giving this money.
IPFA has two sets. One is the shares.
Right.
So share value is you often calculated by people.
Right.
Itna sara share value
Okay.
is there.
So that's why the
Dividend
number
amount,
looks very
yeah,
large.
the dividend amount is separate. That is in the fund which is kept in the public account of
Okay.
Government of India.
Yeah,
So that
right.
is around 10,000 to 11,000 crores as of now.
So what are the main reasons that these assets remain unclaimed? Is it because they are too small? These holdings are so small that people don't find it sort of financially viable to make a claim, or is it because there is excessive paperwork that is required? I'm sure it's all of this because there will be a lot of deterrence. So also there are legacy constraints. At one point of time, physical shares were issued. People didn't get them dematted. They remained physical. Folio numbers changed. So how do you tackle all these legacy problems that
So
we
the
have
reason
in
why
system?
these legacy issues might be arising is, if you recall, in the earlier days, outside the stock exchange,
Correct.
people would be sitting with the papers of IPO. Uh, Identification was not asked. KYC was never done. आप कुछ भी नाम भर दीजिए, put in the give the money, whatever check or something, whatever comes to you comes to you. So it could be allotted in the name of anybody, irrespective of the fact that he's your family or he's your driver or he's your maid or anybody else.
Okay,
It could be
right.
allotted in any. And now it becomes difficult to establish an identity with that person,
Right.
because he may not have PAN, he may have passed away. Yeah, there may be no way to establish how that person has a linkage with you and you can claim that money. So as a result of this, a lot of this kind of money remains unclaimed. In fact, I am told that there's somebody in some place in Bombay who had hundreds of crores of shares.
Mhm.
The value is so much
Right.
now, but he's left. He went to US and he passed away over there, and
Right.
then he has left no claimant for it.
Right.
Right. So that kind of money, that is just locked up because there's
Right.
no claimant. It is never going to be claimed because he had no legal heir also to claim
Right.
it.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
he has not even said that this money should be given to this or this. Nothing.
No,
That money will continue to be lying locked.
in the IEPF.
And then the other issue is that a lot of times I read the mails of complaints that keep coming from people that the share value or the dividend value would be hardly 10,000 bucks, but the stamp duty value or
Is-
this value,
It's
and
so high.
we make people run around so much for their documentation only for 10,000. It's just not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth the time, it's not worth the running around. So as you rightly said, for smaller amounts it could have been a problem there.
Oh. So the regulators itself have been trying to address this issue, right? To have, as you said, trying to have centralized KYC, bringing in these PAN linkages which you
Yes,
just
yes.
mentioned. nominations. You just said that
Yes,
there's somebody
yes,
who left,
yes.
without any
Nomination,
legal,
yeah.
no nomination.
Yeah.
But these problems are not going to sort of disappear.
Solve the legal issue, legacy issues will not be
Yeah,
resolved by this.
but
आगे
going
नहीं जाएगा,
forward,
yes.
from an education perspective,
Absolutely.
what exactly is the IEPFA doing?
So what we are doing is, like, we have this Niveshak Shivir along with SEBI. So where we have the SEBI, NSE, BSE, as well as the mutual MIIs,
Right.
intermediaries. So we advise people to come to these camps and or attend the investor service centers which are across the place and update their KYC, put in a nomination, update your KYC so that it does not come to us. So we tell people, please update your KYC, otherwise the process of reclaiming it becomes longer, because after 7 years you've got to prove that you are alive and you are the same person, because that 7 years limitation period is like for 7 years, and then they are presumed to be dead unless the proof of the burden of proof to prove themselves alive is on that person.
Correct.
So therefore, please come, update your KYC and claim it. So this is what we are doing through various campaigns like Saksham Niveshak, Niveshak Shivir, and then we run a lot of social media campaigns on this, that please update your KYC so that it does not, as a prevention, do not allow it to come to IPFA. IPFA mein aayega, then we are definitely making the process easier. In fact, last year we have done a record number of 72,000 claims, transferred about 57 odd crores of dividends, and a lot of number of shares have also been transferred. It's the highest and the best performance that of IPFA which has come in. But then we will still continue to simplify the system to allow more and more people to come, to increase the awareness. So awareness is another thing that we are looking at, where you bring in influencers, you bring in people who talk in the language of the Gen Z or of the younger lot. Tell them that, please search for your grandfathers or your parents' shares and get them dematted
And
or get the
also ensure that
KYC
you
done.
don't commit the same
Yes,
mistakes.
yes,
That is also equally
yes.
important. So one of the ways you said that you're simplifying this process is to bring in threshold-based,
Right,
document waivers, right?
right,
That's what you
right,
mentioned.
right.
Saying that if it's below a particular threshold, then
Yes,
certain
yes,
documentation need
yes,
not be there.
yes.
Are you also looking at, other things like linking to death registries so that, people know that,
Yes.
so such and such a person has expired and therefore he doesn't need to bring in all the documentation all over again and things like that?
Absolutely. So we are coming out with integrated portal 2.0, which is in the works right now. So the plan is like FIR is again verified with the CCTNS. The death certificate is verified with the death registry. Similarly, court orders are verified with the e-court orders, etc. So we are trying to bring in the linkages. This is basically going to facilitate the companies to verify faster,
Correct.
and death certificate can be also probably extracted by the claimant at the time of filing their claims. So this is what we're looking at, trying to make the process very simple. And once you may be having hundreds of shares of different companies of different folios, but once you make your KYC, once you make your username user in the IPF document, you don't need to keep on getting these documents. It'll
Correct.
just fetch from there, make it very easy for you. So this is what we are looking at in the future.
So you were mentioning this Niveshak Shivir, right? You also launched a program called the Niveshak Setu, if I remember right. And
Yeah.
there you said that we need to be more proactive than reactive. And we also need to reach out to,
People.
people who are, who don't know that they are sort of owners of the shares or recipients of this dividend or potential recipients of this dividend. We need to reach out to them and sort of make them aware that,
Absolutely.
this is what they could do.
So,
what was that?
Niveshak Setu is basically this thing that for a individual, for a citizen of the country, it is not relevant that this belongs to RBI or this is IRDAI's domain or this is EPFO's domain or IPFA's domain. That's not for him.
Right.
And we need to work as a whole of government approach, make the life simpler of the common citizen.
Right.
Right. So Niveshak Setu is a bridge basically for the common citizen to just walk on, where he has similar kind of
So
ease
irrespective of if this is
documentation.
unclaimed money in the
Yeah,
bank or
yes.
dividend or share or insurance or EPF, any, it could be anywhere.
Anywhere. So we, as regulators, we should have our documentation processes eased and aligned and harmonized, so that it's easier for him. He does not need to do the running around. It should be a one-stop shop for him to take anything that he wants. I mean,
Correct.
his unclaimed assets. So this is what is the plan of Niveshak Setu. So currently we are starting on the integrated portal 2.0, which we are calling as Niveshak Setu. So that has the ideal mechanism of doing it, and then we want the other regulators to onboard onto this, so that a claimant can see his claim across different unclaimed assets through.
Okay. And you also had in between mentioned Aapki Punji, Aapki Adhikar,
Right.
right? And I think the key goal of that campaign was to return these unclaimed assets. So that's also something very similar to what you're doing over
Yes,
here.
yes.
So what were the key principles in that campaign?
So that campaign was basically launched that a lot of money is lying idle, unclaimed, which could be again given back to the investors for them to again reinvest in the economy,
Right.
right? If I had my 15 lakhs or if I had my 20 lakhs, I would have reinvested.
Correct.
Currently, it's lying locked away somewhere in some trust or with RBI or with IPFA or wherever. So the idea is to make people aware that please come, if you have something, come claim. We will tell you what the process is, we will create the awareness. It's not as scary a process as it appears to be. It's very simple. Come, please come and do it. That's how the banks have restituted a lot of money back to their people. We have managed to do it for IPFA. Similarly, insurance sector has also done. And then, as I said earlier, the whole idea behind Aapki Punji Aapka Adhikar was to get all the regulators together to work together to try and give back. So a book was released on the event of Aapki Punji Aapka Adhikar, which is a handbook for the investor or for the citizen to see what are the documentation requirements of each of the regulators in one place. And then the search facility unclaimedasset.com, that is a search facility which enables you to search across the spectrum of all the regulators.
So, I think in yesterday's paper, I saw, an announcement that of this launch of this new platform, which will connect IEPFA with the MCA 21 portal, the R&T agents, the depositories, the banks, the DigiLocker, the Aadhaar authentication platform, all this through APIs. And, I think the intent is to offer a single interface covering everything, right? Right from, the claim submission, document verification, resolution clearance and payment. So is this all part of that same effort?
So we in October 25 last year, we had launched the integrated portal 1.
Right.
Right. So that basically what was happening earlier was that MCA 21, where the application is made
Right.
and the processing of the claim, that is up to the approval process, is done, did not talk to the depositories portal where the share transfer has to take place, and these two did not talk to the PFMS portal where the dividend transfer is to take place.
Right.
So the integrated portal was a process of integrating these three. So there was mere integration. There was no business process re-engineering or where you make things easier for people. The claim definitely went way faster.
Right.
As I mentioned earlier, that we were able to clear a number of claims in this period. However, in the integrated portal 2.0, or the Niveshak Setu as I call it, basically, though these integrations would be there would be integrations also with the Aadhaar, because where we are insisting currently that once you fill the form IPF 5, you will have to take a printout of that and all the documents. You will have to send a physical copy to the company, etc.,
Right.
which is a humongous process for everybody. So therefore, we are looking at e-sign. So you just do an Aadhaar e-sign and probably you're able to give it. And then there'll be voice-based assistance in filling up the form, so that even an elderly person can fill up the form. and then you create one username, password, you update your KYC in that one place. So you don't need to keep updating your KYC. For the companies, we are making it easier by giving linkages to the CCTNS or to the death registry and all these things, so that that becomes easy for them.
Right.
DigiLocker may you put in all your documents, we will fetch the documents from your DigiLocker based on consent. It'll be like completely a consent based thing. So wherever you are allowing us to take the document, we will take it and we will try and process your claim faster. Plus, currently the process of doing it in IPFA takes a lot of time,
Right.
right? So that is because you have various levels, everybody checks and all that. So we are planning that below a certain threshold, one, we reduce the documentation, two, we use AI and some fraud meters to check whether there's any fraud or not. Because the low risk documents, the AI simply checks it, makes the approval note, and sends it to the approving officer who approves, with which the dividend transfer and the share transfer takes place immediately.
Okay.
So we are hoping to reduce the timeline by the use of this. And for the higher value claims where the risk is more, maybe it can be allocated amongst the officers. So this is what is the plan of the integrated portal 2.0. that
Yeah,
we-
but nowhere in this are we talking about a federated search, because I think the beginning is somebody needs to search for whether there is something unclaimed
So in
with
this,
any of these entities, whether it's the banks or with the insurance or with the EPFO or with the depositories.
so our mandate at IPFA is currently only on
Correct.
IPFA. So we have a search facility. The same search facility will be linked. What happens is that you will be searching for your this thing. You can search as an authorized representative or as the person himself through PAN, through folio number, through addresses, whatever you can search. And then and there you can put a file claim button, and then you file the claim,
Right.
and your KYC is already done, you've made your username, password, it just picks it up and starts the process.
So the search will be linked back to this portal. That's what you're saying. You'll have a separate
Search
file.
is already, search
It's
will be a
already there
part
in the
of,
IPFA
it will be
portal.
a part of our portal only,
Okay. And
but only for the shares and dividends.
so from a futuristic perspective, because this does sound like something that will sort of dramatically, ease the process, make it much simpler for people to claim. What else do you think, we could borrow from, say, global practices, etc., to make this process easier, simpler, and more importantly, reduce, money becoming inoperative or accounts becoming inoperative over time?
So we'll have to look at it in two steps. One
Right.
is preventive action,
Right.
and one is easing the process.
Correct.
So preventive action is going to be always, please keep updating your KYC, be aware, be more financially aware, be aware of the assets, keep a tab of all the assets, keep keep the information in one place so that your family is aware. If you recall, during COVID times, there were a lot of these things where people used to write down what assets they have,
Right.
and along with the password and all that, so that in case there's an unfortunate incident that they pass away, the family should not have a
Right.
problem. This needs to continue. The will
So let me
process,
interrupt you. How
yeah.
exactly, like, because we are also at NISM in the business of, financial
Education.
literacy and educating sort of investors. I mean, how could we make this more effective? How can we convey this message to people saying that this is as important as investment itself? I mean, keeping a record, keeping your KYC in order, keeping your house, clean.
Yeah, so we will have to continue our process of educating people. It could be through in-person education. It could be through social media, all the, 360 social media. Insta being one for the children, for the younger generation. Facebook being, we've even divided it like Facebook is mostly for the boomers and the older generation.
Right.
Then the Twitter is X, that is for the general Abhiwala generation,
Right.
which is working, and Insta is for the Gen Z, Gen Alpha. They
Right.
all go into that. So different kind of contents which really catches their attention will have to be
Right.
taken into this thing. Then we also take it through programs of the influencers wherein they put in their own style. Now the radio FM, etc. There also the RJs, we request them to keep projecting this. So
And
it has
reminding
to,
potential
yes,
investors that this is something
yes,
that's most important.
yes. So it has to keep creeping in. Then the most important thing is you start educating the kids early. Financial education has to become a very important part of the curriculum. That from the right from childhood you start
So, but the
inculcating that
unfortunate thing
habit.
is most of the financial literacy and financial education that we do is to tell people how to create wealth. We don't tell them how to keep track of the whole thing and to ensure that they don't become inoperative.
So IPFA does that part
Right,
because creation of wealth is mainly SEBI and
right,
others which do. So IPFA looks at the preventive thing and also the awareness. And for the rural people, for the semi-rural people who've got access to phone, courtesy the Jam Trinity,
correct.
etc., they get a lot of funds from the government. But then we keep educating them that just because you've got the money doesn't mean if somebody comes and tells you that you give me the 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs that you got from the government, I'll make it 20 lakhs and give it to you after a month. Don't believe that guy.
Right.
Don't put your money in the rice bag. Put it in the bank. Open a bank account. Put the money in the bank. It'll earn interest for you. And so we go to the self-help groups. We've got a project called Niveshak Didi,
Right.
which is for the women, by the women, kind of a thing, where the Niveshak Didi sits with a group of 50, 60 women of self-help groups, etc., of the rural population and explains to them the importance of not sharing OTPs with the family or with anybody else, not giving away the money without a receipt or without a proof, and how to make notes of it, keep a budget, open a bank account. Even the simple process of opening a bank account, ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने बैंक अकाउंट खोल दिया and then you forgot about it,
Correct.
right? You have to keep operating it, you
Which
got
is
to keep
true of the
checking.
Jandan
Yes,
accounts also. There are a
yes.
large number of Jandan accounts that are non-operative. So how do we
Yes.
educate them saying that you shouldn't be keeping your
So this
account
is
in
what we do in our Niveshak Didi, this thing. So that is, we planned around 4,000 camps till next year. So that I mean about 3.5 lakh people we've already educated.
Okay.
So we propose to keep doing
Wonderful.
that. That's a continuous activity. Financial education is a continuous activity. It's not that I tell you once and you will do it forever.
Right.
I'll have to keep on reminding you. So this is what we all have to do. We have to keep reminding people that this needs to be done.
Yeah, I know, and that's I think a pretty tall order for a country of 150 crores. But I'm sure IEPF with all this new technology that they're adopting and the reach that you are trying through social media, digital, etc., will sort of work. So thank you so much for your time, Anita. This was
Thank
a
you.
fascinating discussion.
Thank you so much.